Hello.
Hey, how are you?
How are you? I'm doing good.
I'm well,
I'm a
thank you.
chaotic day, but I'm doing great.
Yeah, I've had a day over here too.
Oh yeah. Before we start, I want to quickly introduce the two interpreters who are here with us tonight. John will be interpreting for me, and we have Jill, who will be interpreting for you.
Amazing. Nice to meet you both.
All right. Well, Linny, thank you for finding the time in the schedule wise because you just released two books. And hopefully for a third one soon. So I appreciate finding a time in your busy schedule to come on to the Cat Chat podcast to talk about your experience as an author and to talk about these two amazing
Oh, you
books.
have them. Yes. Thank you for having me and thank you for accommodating my time. I had to make sure that all of my children's activities were over. And believe it or not, my husband tore his bicep tendon yesterday and he is out of commission. So everything has been a little crazy.
Oh my goodness.
I know. Tomorrow we find out about a surgery. He's going to need a surgery.
Oh no, I read, I can't remember, I read an article just like today or yesterday about one player tearing up a bicep. I was like, and your husband, oh, poor dude. I hope
Yes.
he had a good surgery and a speedy recovery.
Thank you.
Not fun. I know how it is with husband injuring themselves or becoming sick. It's like, so you can't do anything. Take a
No.
book. I
No,
got it.
I just took the trash out. Two 100-gallon containers by myself for the first time maybe in our whole marriage.
Oh my goodness. But we can handle anything. We can handle any sickness, anything at all.
You're right.
Just
We got this.
for sure.
Cool.
But I appreciate. I'm really happy. I get to know you through social media and along with a very friendly author like Lindsay Gibson, Savannah Carlisle, and yeah, I did
Yeah.
that to the three of you and Nasty Nagel.
Nancy. Yes, I
That
was
was a
going to say
brilliant.
Nancy.
And then you know how you took a try to get her, and the one I got one on my podcast, another one reached out to me. I would love to be on your podcast if you would have. I'm
Everyone's going
very
to want to be on it
good.
now.
Yeah, because I tried to make it comfortable because at the same time I want to know more about you and I want to know more about your experience because each author is different. Sometimes you didn't even grow up wanting to be an author. Maybe you want to be, I don't know, a bat or a doctor or a baker, but you just fell into writing. So I'm
Yeah.
reflecting. So each author has their own personal backstory. So one thing about you here tonight and learn a little bit more about your background before we dive in to the trilogy of Changing Tide, Changing Stars, and Shady Do. I'm not need
Yes.
a own book like now, but I
So soon. It's going to be a good one. Uh, So you want to know how I became an author? Well,
yeah.
I I always wrote stories when I was a kid. I used to hide up in my bedroom and fill spiral bound notebooks with stories and then force my mom and dad to listen to me read them. And then I graduated to a computer and I would print them all out and waste all of the printer ink. So I was always a writer. And, I never put a lot of stock into publishing a book. I never really thought I would. It's funny, my best friend tells me that I told her when I met her I was going to write a book, but I don't recall that at all. So I went to college and I got a degree in literature, and then I became a high school English teacher. And I did that for 10 years. And I had one baby while I was a
Wow.
teacher. And my mom lives kind of far away. She lives an hour away from me, and she would come up and spend a whole week at my house and watch my daughter so I could teach. And then she would go home on the weekends and she would leave my dad every week. So, um, when I had my second baby, my mom was like, I'm not going to do that again. So I became a stay-at-home mom and I've been home since, he's turning 9. So I've been home for 9 years. And my youngest child is 5. So she just started kindergarten and I knew my time was limited with needing to figure out if I was going to go back to teaching or what I was going to do. And I was feeling really lost. And so I started praying about it and just, asking God and the universe, what should I be doing with my life? And one day I woke up and I sat in front of my computer and I wrote Changing Tides. And it just poured out of me. So the only way I can describe it is it was an answer to a prayer. I knew that I needed some direction and I found it. So, yeah. I did have a teacher in 7th grade tell me that she hoped I would become a writer one day. She loved a story I wrote. She read it to the class. And so I dedicated it to her, which I'm sure you saw in the beginning of the book. And I did mail her a copy of it. But it was, you never know. I feel like writing is one of those things that like is a quiet dream. And it sort of comes to you when you are least expecting it, rather than something like, I want to be on television. That's a dream you go after when you're young. This sort of came to me, late in life. I was 39 when I wrote Changing Tides. So kind of not the path I thought I was going to be on.
Wow. Well, never, really, never too late to start anything, but you could go back to college at 39 and graduate with whatever degree you want. Same for
Right.
writing, really, basically, for anything, But wow, that's quite a background. Oh my God. You
I tell
and
everybody
the
you can
book.
do it at whatever age you want, You can go back at any time and write a book if you want to. So, or you can write one in high school. I had many started books through high school and college, but I've sort of abandoned them and I couldn't tell you where they are now to save my life.
Yeah, yeah. I am myself a writer too. Same with my daughter. My family is full of business, writers, educators, and yeah, mainly all of that. So my aunt is a writer, and she writes her book on animal telepathy, so she can like really communicate in depth with animals. So
That's
after the
amazing.
podcast, I will give you the list of her book. So as
Uh-huh.
she sent me all of her books, I would just like read it. I would be like, oh my God. And my late grandmother wrote 2 books. And it was kind of like a time travel kind of book based on her life with my grandfather. So,
Uh-huh.
and I'm right now in the process of truly writing my memoir.
Yay!
I
That's
had
amazing.
I had that idea back in COVID, but I'm gonna write a book because COVID it was just terrible,
Mm-hmm.
confusing,
Mm-hmm.
stressful time. So I was like, I need to write about this, but I never had a chance to because I was so busy with virtual school as a teacher and
Yes.
my 2 children at different locations of the home. So I was like, maybe another time because I'm still young. I may even do it when I'm 50. So maybe
Yeah.
another time.
You can do it whenever you want. It's never too late.
Like 2 years ago, I sat down. I'm like, okay. Like you said, woke up one day and that I have to get this out. I have to tell my life story. I have to tell them about my specific times in my life, like my marriage, my childhood, my darkness, and how it impacted me growing up, and how I
Yes.
became who I am right now.
I would love to read it.
All of that. Oh
I
yeah.
would love to hear your story. Keep
So
me
all of
posted.
that.
Okay.
So pouring out one day, pouring out, I had maybe I want to say almost 5 to 8,000 words in
Wow.
one sitting. I was just like, I had an outline. I jump from different timelines. Here, for almost 2 years. I'm this close to be completely done with my manuscript. I have one author reading it, and they should give me some feedback, like the reading from. I need a neutral person because I gave two of my friends who knew me. So, I knew about this, but I need a person that doesn't know me. The
Yes,
reader should give me raw feedback. I don't want to change my voice or my language, but I need more like comment or explanation. Do I need to explain more this confusing what you want to know more about? So
yes,
yeah, and hopefully in 2026 I will be contracting with an editor and then start the publishing process.
that's great.
So,
I love it. Amazing.
and I grew up writing stories, poems, short stories. If I have a dream, I think I'm gonna write about that. So I'm just like you. I grew up right. My daughter, right, when she was little, she would get one of those blank white notebooks and
Yep,
write her own stories.
I love it.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So, okay, moving on to the trilogy, Changing Tide is the first book, and
Yes.
Chasing Dawn. Like you said, you woke up with an idea how
Hmm.
to do the pouring out. I mean, the character, the story plot. Does it have any kind of connection with your life, or was it just like an idea you've had it on that you wanted to just pour it all out?
I think it started a little bit with the character Sophie. I generally do start with a character when I'm writing, and then everything else sort of comes into play, but I like to develop the characters before anything else. So I started with her, and the only thing in her story that I can relate to is the infertility. Um, I thankfully have a faithful husband and have not been through any traumatic events like that. The the story, when I say it poured out of me, it was not thought out at all. And so it poured out of me in a very jumbled way to like it was almost like an experiment in character development. And the first draft of the book is nothing like what got published. And so much of it changed. And I just had no idea what I was doing. I sat down and I was like, well, okay, I know how to write dialogue and I know proper grammar and punctuation of the English language, but I didn't really know how to write a book. And so it took a lot of work and a lot of edits. But I would say generally I start with a character and I don't write the way I wrote Changing Tides anymore. Now I plan and I plot very thoroughly. But when I wrote that, I really didn't go into it. Like I had a foggy idea and it sort of all came together on the page as I went, but then it needed a lot of work. So,
It's amazing. I was reading, I was like literally get hooked. A minute after I was reading LinkedIn book because they were coming out one after another, and then she shared a W of a new author. I was like, I think I'm gonna check that out. I got the book. I was just like, I like Liam, I like Sophie, and I fell in love with the character Ellie.
yes.
As soon as I read about Ellie, I immediately think of a Hallmark movie called House Around the Table. Minnie Cohen, who played, what's her name in that movie? Shoot, I can't remember her name. I think it was it Ellie or something else. But she was like a foster caretaker with 4 children. And
Uh-huh.
critically, she came into my mind. I'm like, yeah, I see a little bit of a Minnie Cohen vibe for Ellie. But I just love it. I mean, the story plot and how she was trying to overcome her trauma with infertility and her ex-husband. And then there comes Liam, a handsome dumper. Like, but it's just really good. And then as soon as I finished the first book, I was like, okay, straight and done. Come on. As soon as it came out, I'm like, Okay, I'll read the third book. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Really like how you blend that, like each book and focus on character or possibility of a couple, like
Yes.
with Liam and Sophie and Myers and Jenna. I like
Yes.
Myers. I have a hard time deciding Liam and Myers, but I think I'm more Myers because he was very caring. He was
Yes.
supportive and helpful, like how he surprised her with the TV. She's like, why do I have a TV in here if I'm not going
Yes.
to live in here? Hey, the TV girl, let the man spoil you.
It's funny, when I wrote Liam, I thought I liked a cranky man, and my editor was like, he's too cranky. You need to make him nicer. So he got like these extra moments, like him with baby Lucy and the Chinese food. Those were little things that were added in later because my editor thought he was too cranky. So.
Now, what were the challenges with the but like was it just one idea to do a plan for to be a trilogy or to do
So it started out just changing tides, and then I had an idea for it to be a series with the other characters, but I didn't do anything with it because in the publishing industry, they warn you not to write a series unless someone buys the first book, because you could get your heart so invested in this whole series and then no publisher wants it if you want to go the traditional route. And so I had my agent pitched it as a standalone novel with series potential. And so then when the editor liked it, she came back and she said, "Well, what else is Linny working on?" And I had written up two synopses for the next two books. And she bought the series based on Miles' story and Melanie's story. Just a couple of paragraphs about what they were going to be. So the stories were not developed at all at the time that I signed my contract, but it was very fun to write them as I went and kind of figure out what I wanted to do with each one.
that's amazing. I mean, I've always was curious about each author. Like some write standalone book, and I'm like reading about that. I need more. You need to do something else with the character. I mean, we found they're happy, but what about this one? I noticed a little bit of a spark in at the bar or at the housewarming gathering and stuff like that. Oh, we're working on it. We're working on it. The later I hear and an announcement. I was like, oh, you're writing a second book. So I was nasty. I fell in love with the child character. I was that nasty. She goes, I'm working on a second one and a possibility of a third one. I'm like, you could how could story? She goes, yeah. I was like, so all of that. So really interested to see how authors work with their publishing company. I know some of them are like, must be coming on to a team if they're going to be a serious. Or you must be coming on to a team if they're going to do standalone, but we're not really interested in serious right here.
Hmm.
Lindsay
Hmm.
was telling me a little bit about that with her new serious mystery book. So I'm excited for that to come out too. So my husband was like, okay, with all of these books coming out, how are you going to do it? I'm like, I'm going to buy one book at a time. Or if they have a sale on Amazon.
Yeah.
My Amazon list is long. I'm going to have a book shelf full of books I have to read. So,
Yes. That's cool. Yeah, I think it's funny too because a lot of people have asked me if it's going to continue after the third book, and my publisher wanted a little break from Cape May, and so the next series is not set in Cape May. But I think I could go back maybe in a year or two and add a story for Nate, Miles's brother. And a lot of people said they wanted to see something from Joy. So we'll see. There's definitely potential. I don't know if they'll let me do it, but I think it'll be fun. And the third book, there's going to be a character print of all the Cape May couples. So it'll be like they're going to all be standing on the beach and all of the couples will be there and Ellie and Robert will be in the print. So that'll be like a pre-order bonus with the third book. I'm very excited for.
That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, I read it. I'm just like, so good. And what the challenges? Were there any challenges? Because did you know? I know you were not sure about signing on with the theory, but once you got the theory, were there any challenges or any barriers of trying to, okay, I have this, how do I transform it into this book? Like, somehow you easily transform one book to the second book just perfectly. I did not feel any disconnect, or I did not feel like, have I met the character who didn't have to go back to book number one?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So, what were some of the challenges with developing a trilogy for your first three book?
I think by the time I wrote the third book, the challenge was actually writing in the world still, was becoming a little bit mundane for me as the writer, just pushing through and writing them as quickly as I did. It felt like they were, it was just a lot and a lot of Cape May and a lot of the same places and themes. And I was like, I don't know if I can keep this interesting. And I'm happy to say that I think the third book is probably the best one. And my editor absolutely loved it, but I had the worst time writing it. It was the hardest. And part of it is probably because it was on a deadline and it had to be done by a certain time. And so that sort of stifles creativity a little bit when you have to have something done at a set time. And just in general, having been a little bit tired of the world, I don't think my readers will be tired of it. And also, the third one is, in the first book, you have Melanie and she was in the car for the accident. The third book, you're sort of getting the aftermath of that for her because you don't get to explore how she dealt with it at all. And it's dual timeline, so you're going to see her in high school and it's a second chance with Kara's brother. And so it turned out really special. And we wrote a song for it, which I'm not sure if you knew, but it's a musical book, so there's a song, and the song will be produced. Well, it is produced, it's done. It'll be on Spotify and Apple Music and in the audiobook. So that it's very special, it's very close to my heart. And it feels like if we have to close the series with this book for good, it's a good one to end on.
Definitely, definitely. Hopefully, you will take like a little bit of a breather after three books. 'Cause it's like that done. Go, 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 go. Author signing, go, go, go. Book tour, go, go, go. And all of that. That was like, I hope she had the moment to sit and breathe.
I know.
Share
I told
the book.
myself, I keep telling myself that every signing is the last one for the year. And then I was supposed to be done on November 2nd. I got COVID in September and I had to cancel two signings. And so they're rescheduled for the middle of November now. And they will be the last for the year. But I do want to take the holidays off. I have three little kids. And so I feel like I need a good break, but I'm on a deadline for my new series for December 15th. So after that, there'll be a little break.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna keep the room from it after December 15th. Lindy, are you sitting down, having coffee, just chilling? Do I need to come? Or do Lindsay need to come just to share? Because I know how it is. Because sometimes I have my moment with writing out that I'm not gonna write today, but I told myself I have to write them today. I'm not gonna do it. So my parents would be like, how's the book going? I'm like, great. And I have you been writing? I'm like, not really, but I get there when I can. So, but yeah,
It's
definitely
hard.
the
It's hard,
moment
and I
with
want people to read this next one. This next one is a romantic suspense. So it's romance, but thriller kind of combined. And I want beta readers for it so that I make sure it's good. I've never written in this subgenre before. So I kind of want to have it done by like Thanksgiving so that people can read it before it's due. And so I told myself I have to write at least 1,200 words a day to make that deadline, and it's a little hard.
Let me know. I'd be happy. I'd be happy to be a better reader. Because I'm
I
not
will
going to
keep
read it
that
for
in
a couple of
mind.
doctors, so I would be happy to read it. But I'm going to take the day off to read an unpublished, soon to be published book, and I'll leave me alone. I'm like, oh, okay. I make them do.
It's cool. This one will keep you on the edge of your seat. So it's a little swoony, but it's also very mysterious. So
Now I was reading one of my friend's books, that Joe book, and and I was reading a typical romance book, and I got to read the mystery Treasure Island book, like a murder mystery that fun. I kind of got a little romance too, but it's kind of like slow. I was like, okay, sure, sure. After the first book, I was like, I love this book. I love these characters. There's another one. Got the three of them. I'm writing on the fourth one. So I ran the first two. I'm reading on the third one. It's on my list. I haven't ordered it yet because I need to just tame it down a little bit. But yeah, I'm up for any kind of book. I will read it. I will
I
read
love
it.
it. I love it.
For the trilogy, is there any character that based off anybody in their life? Just a random character.
Most of them have traits of people that I know. I wouldn't say they're based off anyone in particular. Ellie is a very good mix of my Italian grandma and my 35-year-old best friend. So they both have, that unsolicited advice trait and also the neighborhood watch. It's the two of them. So I felt like she sort of came from conversations I've had with both of them. She's the only one that's really probably based off a person that I could specifically name. Miles is very much like my husband. So he's got a lot of the same qualities. He falls first, he'll do anything for her. He likes seeing her happy. That's very much the man that I married, except my husband has less hair and doesn't surf.
I go get them book lessons if you want to become Miles. Come on, make the wife happy.
That's his favorite phrase. Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, yeah. I see a man with their t-shirt that is happy wife, happy life, but then in between is my wife let me go fishing or hunting, whatever. You gotta do what you gotta do. So important you make me happy, that I have no problem with that. So,
Yes.
okay, I want to talk about a couple of quotes that I really, I'm just reading. I'm like, oh, there's a quote related with tide and the preceding tide in, let me see, okay, on page 86, and there's another one on 222. A dull piece of corn, but when the tide changes after all is done, they could become new again. And I hope that, but it brings hope for Sophie because she's going through so many changes. She's going, but the tide changes, it becomes new, starting over a new wave. And it's another metaphor for Sophie to start over her life and give herself a second chance of a wave, new love, new life, new place, new relationship. And the one I really, really, just literally, I have my eye rolling when there was another quote that Liam, your mood changes just like the tide. That Liam was hot and cold, hot and cold. Women can't play with hot and cold. You either go
No.
this way or you either go this way. Pick
Yes.
a way and, you know,
Yeah. So the quote about becoming new again, the Cape May diamond is a real thing, and so they're natural pieces of quartz that wash up where the river meets the bay, and they get sort of tumbled. And you can go to the beach and you can dig for them and you can find these almost clear stones of all varying sizes. I wish I brought some down here. Um, they're not super see-through until you can put them in a rock tumbler and then you can make them clear like a diamond. But when you find them on the beach, they're very smooth, almost like sea glass. But they're natural pieces of quartz. And so they don't look like that before they're washed in the tide. And so, yeah, that was very fitting for what Sophie was going through. And then the moods, yeah, I mean, the tide changes multiple times a day. So,
Yeah. Yeah, everything like, come on, dude, damn, really, I should like, you're making me just, I'm like, and it's like giving me a whiplash because every time I read the book like this or Lindsay's book or other books, I think I'm reading, I'm very into it, very connected, and then I start getting emotions at the characters like who and play and who. That's like damn and tricky, very tricky to figure out that I'm going back and forth with this, and I go back to the one person I wanted to be. I'm like, not quite there, God, but it's just like,
I know. He had so much baggage. He had to overcome his baggage. And so he wasn't able to just jump in immediately. And I felt like he needed to be authentic, And so if you're a real person and you're going through those struggles and you have that baggage, you're not going to be able to just let it go immediately and fall in love. It didn't feel right. He needed to work through those emotions. So, but yes, I know he does give you some emotional whiplash.
yeah, and then like something unexpected. I was like, okay, it's gonna be okay. I know I'm gonna be happy at the end in the book. I know I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna read. I'm like, okay, okay. Like the chasing started with the whole newspaper article. I was like, oh my God, Maya, why didn't you just say it when you had
I
to say it?
know.
But you had to find out in a different way. So that's why I do no spoilers. I'm just vaguely talking about the book. But it's
Did
just
you see it
like,
coming? Did you see that twist coming?
I was reading, I had a feeling. I had a feeling. I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, okay. There's too much going on. And but what really, I was like, the family knew. Okay, I need to keep reading and just let it all fall apart and figure out what, like the whole story.
Yes,
But oh,
I know. I know. That one was inspired by a news article from around here of somebody that this actually happened to. I think everybody turned out okay. Of course, I had to make it a little more dramatic for the book, but yeah, it was like based on a true article that I had seen.
wow, I like have a little bit of a true fact or true something in the book. Make it very special and it makes it very relatable.
Yeah.
And now for the quote with the shaded star. Thank you for having me find the quote. But
Oh,
I
you're welcome.
normally I would take a post-it and annotate. But I was like, I hate doggy ears. I mean, I ran out of post-it, so I underlined them. Oh, I should go flip it and see if I could find it. I'm like, oh,
Oh, you couldn't
God,
find it.
I wrote
Yeah.
it printed. So I was like, I wrote it in pencil. But the ones you told me the page numbers, I'm like, I
You had
underlined
it.
and see if I did something to her. So the shading does clone when I'm me. Wait a minute. I'm trying to paint 67. Okay, I'm trying. Because I wrote it out of order. Out of order.
Oh,
All over the place. When I'm ready, I ride the wave in. And it's like I'm shading thought about me. So that one, 57, and another one later on, 298. Like you thought was the chase entire thing, like a turning moment of him feeling uh when he realized that I'm changing something. Okay, I need to keep doing that. So that was a really good quote. I like how you did two quotes or maybe more the way the book and how it would connect into the title of the book. I was like, oh, that's the purpose. Okay, it's not
I do
really
love a
awesome.
subtle title drop. Yes. Yeah, and I feel like that was the place that Miles felt the most at peace, despite what happened to him in the ocean. And he likes to be reminded of the vast universe and how he's a little tiny blip in the universe, but that he can still, experience all the beauty of it. So I like that. And I like, surfing at night is, I think people really do it, but it's not really safe. So,
Yeah,
but, but for the book, for the purpose of the book, it works. It's funny when they design my book covers for a series, they do them all at once. And so, because they want them to look cohesive. And so they designed Chasing Stars with the Washington Street Mall, which is a real place. But I didn't have the scene in the cover on the book. So I wrote that scene where they're walking and then they see the shooting star because of the book cover, basically, which is funny. The book cover was written before or produced before I had even written the whole book.
that's pretty cool. Yeah, and same thing with shooting time. The cover. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And the last quote was around the proposal that I used to share thought, believing on some level that if I could reach them, I could find a way to feel invincible. So it was like reaching for it, but at the same time trying to go after gender. But again, it's like ping pong, and also each of them have some kind of baggage, and they want to get a clear mind of
Yes.
what's happening. That okay, I'm gonna do this. Like with gender with her long lost relative, finding out about that house by her mom
Hmm.
and how Maya was connecting to it. That was like, okay. So I really
Yeah.
like how to embed in those meaningful quotes and make it a point of how the characters develop and change from the beginning of the book across to the most romantic guy ever at the end.
Yeah.
Squeeze in the title.
How do I do that? Well, I do usually try to slip the title in. It's going to be harder in my next series because they're suspenseful. But here, I knew that each character was going to, you know, undergo a transformation of sorts because I do firmly believe that you can't love someone else unless you love yourself first. And so Miles and Liam both needed to come to terms with those things. And Miles did it in the water, on the waves in finding peace in the universe. And Liam did it, through therapy, of course, and understanding that, things were not his fault and that he did deserve happiness. But I think I like a metaphor for something that is part of the essential human experience, but it just makes it prettier.
Happening. Now going forward, after you finish the third book of the series, like you start to possibly take a break and then get back into writing and it's more of like a mystery into are you open into and writing different genres or there like a specific genre that you really want to stick with for right now before you get busier and become a most published author.
Um, so under this pen name, I pretty much need to stay in the romance space. You develop an audience and they come to expect certain things from you. But there are subgenres of romance, and so I can pretty much dabble in any subgenre. And the next series is the subgenre is called romantic suspense. But if I wanted to write speculative romance or paranormal or romantasy, I could. I don't know if I will because I always like stories that are grounded in, like a realistic place. And I like a story that could really happen. So that's probably where I'll stay in just the typical contemporary space with a little mystery. So for now, my children are begging me to write a middle grade book, but I can't write it under Linny Mack. I would have to have a different name.
Yeah, that I was a child, that I was something to think of and work on. So
Hmm.
definitely. Yeah, because my stuff. I have two children's books, but written, but I don't have pictures. So I'm just like, and my mom was like, you gotta do something about it, do something. I'm like, I know I need to find someone with pictures, and I need to go back to the story to make sure it's what I want.
Yes.
One for my daughter, one for my son, and
Aw.
another one for both of them for like storytelling that was told for my grandmother when she was raising my mom and my aunt and four about myself and my siblings, and now she's passed. So I want to keep that storytelling alive. So I might convert that into some kind of a children's book. So really, I have four books laying around. I'm focusing on my own right now, so I could just like get it out and see what happens from there.
Yes. Yes. Good for you. That's awesome.
Okay, now that book, is there anything you want your audience to look out for or what to expect? I know we talked a little bit about the third book, like the back one, and it's kind of like a good wrap up of each story before moving on to a new location with possibility of new characters, like you mentioned earlier.
I dropped a little Easter egg in the third book for the next series. So you'll wanna keep an eye out for that when you're introduced to Josh. There's a little Easter egg. So keep an eye out for that. I think as a whole, it wraps up the story of the accident and how it affected Liam and Melanie the most. In fact, I would say like Miles' story is one that can truly stand alone, and so can Melanie's, but a lot will make sense about her character in Changing Tides once you meet her in her own book. So I'm excited for characters to see her and for her to get a little redemption because I think people were like, they either loved Melanie or they felt bad for her or they hated her. So I am excited for her to get her story.
Yeah, yeah. I got a little bit of the feeling with Melanie and with Aaron. Come on to the end of the battle. No, 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 no. Don't do anything. We need to have a puppet thing going on. Don't do anything. No, okay. Should like a clear up, closing the chapter or whatever it is. So I will keep an eye out for the Easter egg. I
Easter
will make
egg.
sure I have posted and penned ready to go. So I can just easily find them. Because I was like, oh, I really want to talk about the quotes, but I can't find them. But I'm like, oh,
Oh,
she's the author. She wrote it, but she should be able to find it. Just
I
like
like that.
that.
Very quick.
Okay, well, I want to say thank you for your time for coming on to the cast chat. And I normally give a little bit of time toward to the end of the interview, the chat for you. If you have any comments or if you have any questions you want to ask, that's what the time is for.
Oh, you're so nice. I just want to tell you thank you for having me. I had such a fun time chatting with you and getting to know you, and I'm so excited to be here. So, thank you for having me. And, we'll keep in touch for sure. Maybe we can do this again.
Definitely, definitely. So viewers out there, make sure to check out Lindy Mack on Instagram and Goodreads. She has great books out. We have Changing Tide first, and then we have Chasing Stars second, and the last book is Chasing You. And who's that you? We don't know, so tune in when the book comes out and find out. So that's there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good night,
You
Linny.
too. Bye.
Bye.